Welcome to Mr.Darius channel. Today we will explore a case in Aurora, Colorado. In the late summer of 2013, the serene facade of Aurora, Colorado, shattered as a gruesome crime erupted from a seemingly ordinary household. 18-year-old Isabella Guzman unleashed a horrifying fury on her mother, Yunmi Hoy. In a frenzied attack that shocked the nation, Guzman plunged a knife into her mother's face a staggering 31 times, followed by a chilling 48 slashes to her neck, leaving a scene of unimaginable horror. Earlier that fateful day, Yunmi had been alarmed by her daughter's increasingly violent outbursts and sought help from the police, who delivered a stark warning to Guzman about the potential consequences of her behavior. But as twilight descended, the air thick with tension, Guzman's simmering rage boiled over, leading to a tragic confrontation that would end in her mother's brutal murder. The public was left reeling in the aftermath, grappling with disbelief and outrage. Each of Guzman's court appearances only deepened the community's disdain, as her apparent detachment from the gravity of her actions painted a chilling portrait of a young woman spiraling out of control. As investigators delved into the dark depths of this tragedy, a disturbing truth emerged. Isabella Guzman was battling severe mental illness at the time of the attack. The court ultimately ruled her not guilty by reason of insanity, consigning her to the Colorado Mental Health Institute at Pueblo, a decision designed to safeguard both her and the community from her unhinged state. While the ruling meant that Guzman could face an indeterminate stay in the institution, potentially for life, recent developments hint at a complex turning point. By November 2020, Guzman was making strides toward reintegration, claiming to have found clarity and healing through medication and therapy. "I was not myself when I committed that act, and I have since been restored to full health," she declared, revealing a harrowing history of familial abuse that had plagued her since childhood, especially following her departure from the Jehovah's Witness faith. However, her tumultuous journey took another dark turn within the institution's walls. In 2015, Guzman alleged that a hospital staff member had preyed on her vulnerability, sexually assaulting her under the pretense of assisting her with clothing in a closet. The chilling allegations raised alarm bells, leading to an investigation by the Colorado Department of Human Services, although the findings remain cloaked in secrecy due to privacy laws. Despite Guzman's claims of repeated assaults by the same employee, the district attorney's office reported no formal cases submitted for prosecution. This additional layer of trauma in her life has only compounded the challenges she faces as she seeks to rebuild her shattered existence. Isabella Guzman's saga, a heart-wrenching tale marked by a horrific crime, deep mental health struggles, and an unsettling battle for justice, continues to unfold, leaving a trail of questions about her future and the dark shadows of her past as she strives to reclaim her place in society. On the fateful evening of August 28, 2013, what began as a routine night in a seemingly ordinary family household in Aurora, Colorado, would soon devolve into an unspeakable horror that would haunt the community for years to come. It was around 9:30 p.m. when Yunmi Hoy returned home after a long, exhausting day at work. Eager to unwind, she informed her husband, Ryan Hoy, of her plan to take a shower upstairs, seeking solace in the warm water to wash away the fatigue of the day. Little did they know that this evening would spiral into a nightmare that no one could have anticipated. As Yunmi made her way upstairs, the calm of the night settled over the house, creating an eerie sense of normalcy. But soon, that tranquility shattered. Without warning, a loud, ominous thud echoed through the hallways, followed by piercing, blood-curdling screams that sent chills down Ryan's spine. The sounds were gut-wrenching, filled with terror and desperation, igniting a primal fear within him. Panic surged through Ryan as he raced up the stairs, heart pounding in his chest. He reached the bathroom door, only to be confronted with a harrowing sight. His stepdaughter, Isabella Guzman, was forcefully slamming the bathroom door shut, locking it from the inside with an unnerving intensity. Ryan's instincts kicked in. He pushed against the door in a desperate attempt to intervene, to understand what was happening. But the door held firm against his efforts, sealed by Guzman's resolve. The situation escalated dramatically when Ryan noticed something that made his blood run cold. Blood was seeping ominously from beneath the door, pooling on the floor like a harbinger of death. Fueled by sheer terror and urgency, he rushed downstairs, grabbing his phone and dialing 911, his voice shaking as he begged for immediate assistance. When he returned to the hallway, the atmosphere was thick with dread. Suddenly, he was confronted with a haunting scene that would be etched into his memory forever. Isabella Guzman emerged from the bathroom, her face void of emotion, her gaze locked straight ahead, as if in a trance. In her hand, she clutched a knife, dripping with the blood of her own mother, a silent testament to the unspeakable violence that had just occurred. As Ryan's heart raced, he heard his wife's final, desperate invocation of Jehovah, a prayer that seemed to hang in the air, heavy with sorrow. It was a last plea for salvation, a heart-wrenching farewell. The silence from Guzman was deafening. She uttered no words, offered no explanation as she brushed past Ryan, leaving him paralyzed with disbelief. With trepidation, Ryan pushed the bathroom door open, and the gruesome reality hit him like a tidal wave. The sight was unfathomable. Yun Mi-hoy lay lifeless on the floor, her naked body sprawled amidst a horrifying pool of blood. A baseball bat lay discarded nearby, a chilling reminder of the struggle that had unfolded. Her body bore the brutal marks of a frenzied attack. At least 79 stab wounds marred her head, neck, and torso, each wound a brutal testament to the violence that had erupted in what should have been the sanctuary of their home. Desperation clawed at Ryan as he attempted to resuscitate her, but it was futile. Yun-mi was beyond saving, her throat slashed and her life extinguished. The sound of sirens began to echo in the distance, blending with his anguished cries, a cacophony of despair. In the immediate aftermath of this horrific event, chaos erupted. Isabella Guzman had vanished, slipping into the night as the authorities quickly launched an urgent manhunt. The police broadcasted an urgent alert, warning the public that Guzman was armed and dangerous, a chilling reminder of the brutal act she had committed, underscoring the gravity of the situation. The following afternoon, the search reached a tense climax when authorities located Guzman hiding in a nearby parking garage. She was found wearing a pink sports bra and turquoise shorts, her clothes stained with the unmistakable evidence of her mother's blood. The sight sent shockwaves through the community, deepening the horror of the night's events. This dark and tragic night marked a pivotal chapter in the lives of all involved, leaving a community in shock and a family irreparably fractured. The crime scene at their once safe Aurora home transformed into a grim memorial, a silent witness to an act of unimaginable violence that would resonate long after, lingering in the hearts and minds of everyone who learned of it. The tragedy that unfolded within those walls would leave scars that could never heal, haunting the memories of a family torn apart by an unthinkable crime. From a young age, Isabella Guzman exhibited troubling behavioral issues that alarmed her family. In a desperate attempt to address these challenges, her mother, Yunmi Hoy, made the difficult decision to send Isabella to live with her biological father, Robert Guzman, when she was just 7 years old. However, this shift in her living situation did not bring about the desired changes. After some time, Isabella returned to her mother's home, but her struggles only deepened as she transitioned into her teenage years, ultimately leading her to drop out of high school prematurely. The already fragile relationship between Isabella and her mother reached a breaking point in August 2013. Her stepfather, Ryan Hoy, described how Isabella's behavior had turned increasingly hostile and disrespectful towards Yunmi. Tensions boiled over on August 27th during a particularly explosive argument, which culminated in Isabella spitting in her mother's face, an act of defiance that left everyone in shock. The following morning, an ominous email arrived in Yunmi's inbox from Isabella. According to CBS 4 Denver, the message contained a chilling declaration: "You will pay." Fearful of what this could mean, Yunmi immediately contacted the police, hoping for protection. When officers arrived that afternoon, they confronted Isabella, warning her of the serious consequences of her behavior, including the possibility of being evicted if she continued to defy her mother. In an effort to ease the escalating situation, Yunmi reached out to Robert Guzman, pleading for him to step in. He responded by visiting the home later that day. As reported by HuffPost, Robert took Isabella to the backyard, a tranquil setting filled with nature, where he earnestly spoke to her about the importance of respecting one's parents. He believed he had made a breakthrough with her, feeling hopeful that their conversation would lead to positive change. But tragically, little did he know that their heartfelt discussion would prove to be futile. Just hours later, the unfolding events would reveal a heartbreaking reality: his efforts had changed nothing at all. Have you ever felt that a conversation with a loved one could shift the course of events, only to realize it had no effect? What do you think could have been done differently in this situation? How do we recognize when a situation is escalating beyond our control? In 2020, the digital world was swept up in an astonishing phenomenon surrounding Isabella Guzman, a name etched in infamy due to her harrowing arraignment in 2013. As TikTok began to bubble with activity, users rapidly shared videos from her notorious court appearance, synchronizing clips to Ava Max's catchy hit Sweet But Psycho. Creators mimicked Guzman's unsettling courtroom expressions, transforming her chilling demeanor into a bizarre source of entertainment that quickly took the platform by storm. The juxtaposition was striking. While Isabella's life hung in the balance, viewers across the internet were captivated by her image, dissecting her every move and expression with a mix of intrigue and amusement. Speculations ran rampant. Some viewers attempted to rationalize her actions, suggesting she must have had deeply rooted reasons for the crime she committed. This newfound obsession culminated in a montage video that rapidly racked up nearly 2 million views, propelling Isabella Guzman into a perplexing form of internet fame. Fan pages dedicated to her sprang up on social media, particularly on platforms like Facebook and Instagram, celebrating her notoriety in a grotesque twist of fate that felt more like a cruel joke than a genuine attempt to understand her story. Yet, amidst the viral frenzy, the reality of Guzman's existence was a stark contrast to the fantasy crafted by her online persona. Confined within the sterile walls of the Colorado Mental Health Institute, she grappled with the shadows of her past, waging a relentless battle against her schizophrenia. Therapy sessions became both her refuge and her prison as she navigated the treacherous landscape of her medication regimen, each day a reminder of the internal chaos she struggled to contain. The isolation was suffocating, and the weight of her actions loomed over her like a dark cloud, threatening to consume her spirit. In November 2020, a pivotal moment arrived when Guzman sought legal permission for her release, asserting her recovery with a fervor that was almost palpable. "I was not myself when I did that," she stated during an interview with CBS 4 Denver, her voice trembling with the intensity of her emotions. "I have since been restored to full health. I'm not mentally ill anymore. I'm not a danger to myself or others." Yet, beneath her carefully chosen words lay a tempest of unresolved feelings, an unquenchable thirst for understanding and vindication. Could anyone truly comprehend the demons that haunted her? In a moment of raw vulnerability, Guzman opened up about her past, revealing a painful history of familial abuse. She recounted the years of mistreatment endured at the hands of her parents, devout Jehovah's Witnesses whose rigid beliefs suffocated her spirit. The atmosphere at home turned toxic after her departure from the religion at age 14, which she suggested triggered a wave of abuse that would forever alter the course of her life. The scars of that trauma ran deep, intertwining with the events of that fateful night in August 2013, a night that echoed through her psyche like a relentless nightmare. By June 2021, Guzman's circumstances began to shift slightly as she was granted conditional permission to leave the hospital for therapy sessions. This opportunity sparked a flicker of hope, a chance for reintegration into a society that had all but forgotten her. But even as she sought redemption, she wrestled with the irrevocable consequences of her past actions, the anger and regret simmering beneath the surface. In a moment of poignant reflection, she expressed her deep remorse for the events of August 28, 2013, wishing desperately that she could turn back time. "If I could change it, or if I could take it back, I would," she lamented, the weight of her words resonating with a painful honesty. Now, Isabella Guzman remains at the Colorado Mental Health Institute in Pueblo, a living reminder of a moment that shattered her life and left an indelible mark on those around her. The disparity between her online image and her grim reality paints a complex portrait of a young woman caught in a web of societal fascination and personal despair. As she navigates the labyrinth of her emotions and strives to confront her past, the question lingers: can one ever truly escape the shadows of their own making? Or are they destined to be forever haunted by the echoes of their choices? The dichotomy of her existence serves as a haunting reminder that beneath the surface of notoriety lies a profound struggle for understanding, healing, and redemption. Even though the case surrounding Isabella Guzman has receded into the past, it continues to stir up controversy. Reactions vary widely, with some people defending her while others vehemently oppose her actions. As I delve into the opinions of various psychologists and parents, it becomes evident just how divided perspectives can be. MP Anthony, writing on September 4, 2023, provided a clinical analysis of Isabella's behavior leading up to the tragic events. There was no evidence of threats or violence by Isabella until the day of the homicide, he asserted. He further noted that she never voiced any complaints about her family's economic situation. According to Anthony, The abuse Isabella referenced stemmed from her early childhood and resurfaced as emotional abuse around age 14, coinciding with her decision to reject Jehovah in favor of Christianity. He pointed out that the "not guilty by reason of insanity" plea was not a defense initiated by the court, but rather advocated by the prosecution. "We punish people who make decisions to do wrong when they knew better," he explained. "And in this particular case, I am convinced, based on the evidence that I've seen and the information presented in court, that this woman did not know right from wrong." Anthony emphasized that Isabella was engulfed in significant schizophrenia and delusions, leading her to a state where she could not have acted differently. "In the interest of justice, I had to take these steps," he concluded. In stark contrast, Kadi, in her commentary dated October 5, 2023, expressed her frustration with the situation. "I have watched the ridiculous interview a number of times," she stated, her voice laced with anger. "Each and every time, I want to reach through the screen and clap each of them." She criticized the officers involved, claiming they should have ended the interview within the first 10 minutes. Kadi found parallels between Isabella and her own daughter, lamenting the difficulty in helping someone who excels at manipulation. Putting her in a mental health hospital was not the answer, she asserted, believing Isabella reveled in her perceived victory over the officers. Her exasperation spilled over into her assessment of the officers' demeanor during the interview. "Arguing with a teenage girl the way they did made the two officers look totally dumb," she remarked, noting that they appeared to mirror the immaturity of their opponent. Walter, sharing his thoughts on October 28, 2023, painted a somber picture of his own experience with schizophrenia through a family member. "It's sad because I have a relative who sometimes believes he is Jesus Christ and sees vampires," he shared, highlighting the harrowing reality of living with someone affected by the condition. "It's drug-induced schizophrenia, but it's still tragic." He expressed his love for his relative while acknowledging the fear and confusion that accompanied their relationship. "I cannot allow him to be around at times," he confessed, fearing for the safety of those around him. Finally, Lisa, in her commentary dated October 21, 2023, recounted a chilling episode involving her uncle, who also suffered from schizophrenia. "Once, he had an episode and wanted to kill my sister," she remembered, her voice trembling as she recounted the fear that gripped her family. It was brutal. The vivid recollection of that night haunted her still, as she and her family went to bed fearful for their lives. "The thing is, schizophrenia doesn't have a cure," she stated bluntly, underscoring a harsh truth. She articulated the frightening reality of living with a schizophrenic person, emphasizing that a sufferer might one day believe they are cured, only to have the illness resurface. "This girl should not be allowed to be free after what she did," she asserted. "She should be arrested and continue her treatment." As I sift through these varied opinions, I am struck by the complexity of this case, a tapestry woven with threads of empathy, anger, and profound sadness. Each voice offers a unique perspective on a tragedy that has affected countless lives, showcasing the multifaceted nature of mental illness and the dire consequences that can ensue. It compels one to ponder, how do we balance the need for justice with the need for understanding? In a society that often seeks to label and judge, can we truly grasp the depth of human experience that lies behind such tragic events? Adding to this intricate discussion, Rebecca, sharing her thoughts on November 15, 2023, reflected on the societal implications of mental health awareness. "It's heartbreaking to witness a young person like Isabella fall through the cracks of our mental health system, she lamented. Too often we stigmatize those struggling with mental illness, branding them as dangerous without understanding the deeper issues at play. Rebecca advocated for a shift in societal attitudes, emphasizing the need for compassion and comprehensive support systems. Rather than casting judgment, we should be asking how we can better support individuals like Isabella to prevent such tragedies, she urged. The system failed her long before that fateful night. Lastly, Sandra, a mother of two, weighed in on the emotional toll that incidents like Isabella's case can have on families. As a parent, I can't help but feel for both Isabella and her mother, she shared on December 10, 2023. No parent wants to believe that their child could be capable of such actions, yet the signs of struggle can often go unnoticed. Sandra reflected on the fears that plague parents of children with behavioral or mental health issues, noting that the stigma attached to mental illness can hinder open conversations. We need to create an environment where families feel safe discussing their struggles without fear of judgment, she urged. Only then can we hope to prevent future tragedies and support those who need help the most. What do you think about the story of Isabella Guzman and the mental health issues it raises? Do the contrasting reactions from the community and mental health professionals make you reflect on how society views individuals with mental illnesses? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to follow our channel for more exciting crime-solving stories.